What's your favourite part about farming?
The lifestyle's pretty cool. Early mornings, you're outside, it's fresh, there's no one telling you what to do.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I do love it. What about your job? Do you like it?
I love it. But I'm going back to college now.
Fantastic. What are you going to study?
Women, Gender and Society. Masters.
Really?
In UCD, yeah. Sometimes I think people get a bit taken aback. Oh, you're a feminist. Oh. Oh, you're one of those. Oh. People just assume that you hate men, which isn't the case, you know what I mean? If someone says feminism to you, do you think, like, feminazi, like, you know?
No,
I
think equality. I genuinely do.
Yeah, that's literally what
Yeah,
I
but
mean.
yeah. I suppose I'm a feminist.
You're a feminist?
Yes,
amazing.
yeah, you can read it.
Third one.
Yes, so fucking great. Love the feminists. Yeah, let's burn our bras. Fuck it.
If I got any, like, hint of sexism, racism, homophobia, I'd be like, we're done. I worked in a shop in a deli for 7 years before I moved to Dublin.
Nice. People underestimate how important deli staff are. You have a hangover, you go into the deli, she looks at you and she's like, she knows how vulnerable you are. It's like, are you okay? It's like, I'm absolutely dying. And she goes, okay, what would you like, love? And I'm saying she because, I mean, mostly, like, men are bad at making sandwiches. You know what I mean? Women are bad, like... I'm going to get digging a hole here. But it was a girl in my experience behind the deli counter. Because I'm thinking of one place in particular.
Are you moving?
Climate, global warming. Less about the vagina, more about the polar bears. Pussy tsunami!
I saw them open for Nickelback.
Fascist! Fascist! I give you love. Fascist! Fascist!
It's a Donald Trump pinata.
What are you doing here, Jesus?
It's the Maya Angelou quote.
Oh, I'm more Jay-Z. Have we matched on Tinder before? Are you guys on Bumble?
My street name is Mama Jude of Occupy LA, also known as Shut the Up. It's 3 o'clock in the goddamn morning. He hacked WikiLeaks in October of 2012 for the location of the military mass amount of drones and the chemical and the chemtrail exposure. I'm reaching out to anyone that is willing to help me expose what corruption is going on with our government.
Can you tell me about your hat?
It's my pussycat.
Oh, wow, it's long.
She got ears with pockets.
I do agree that there is stigma that I have to deal with because I am fat, but I'm actually really in celebration of my body. I find beauty in diversity. I think we come in all shapes and sizes. And the assumption that we've dealt with a lot on this show is that just because you're obese, you must overeat. You must have an eating disorder. I know that not to be the case. I know you can have a healthy relationship.
Now, Mimi, you say this is misleading. Go have at it a little bit.
Well, I certainly think that we all want to feel good about ourselves. That's understandable. I don't think people should feel demeaned by their size. And I also couldn't agree more with the message of daily exercise. No matter what size you are, you'll certainly benefit from daily exercise. You can't be healthy without that. But then let's talk about where we disagree. Look, if you want to feel good about yourself, it's impossible to feel good about yourself when you're doing something that's self-destructive. Also, self-destructive behaviors that result in damage or debilitation or even disfigurement to the body, that's never going to be perceived as beautiful.
The thing is that I think that the HAES approach, the health at every size approach, has been documented to work. And it's been documented to work year after year.
What do you mean work? What do you mean work? Because a health at every size is a lie. If you starve yourself into damage, that's unhealthy. Or if you eat yourself into damage, that's not healthy.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's just not.
Here,
that's not true.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
That's like saying
about
that.
Weight
let's
being
say you were a smoker.
self-destructive.
Let's say you're a smoker and have black lungs, and you try to say that's healthy because you don't have cancer yet. We know that it is actually factual that obesity is dangerous, and it's connected to cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's. We even know it's connected to an increase in birth defects. So there's nothing left to debate.
Mimi?
It's not beautiful. It's not healthy.
I think you need to separate the idea of weight from healthy behavior.
Yes.
Now, I have students that when they come to me, when they start my class, they can barely walk from the car to my class. And over the course of a year, I'll take them from that point to working out 3+ hours
There's
per
your
week.
class now.
Right.
I mean, but that's a massive improvement. I mean,
Right.
that's no longer people with medical issues. Those are people you've taken and improved them
but they haven't necessarily lost a lot of weight. Some of them have lost no weight, and they've had these medical improvements, and they've had these life improvements, these life freedom improvements, without losing weight.
You should know better. Go after the systems that excuse it, hide it, ignore it.
Hello, it's Lauren Southern here with Rebel, and I just got in a huge confrontation with the slut walk, which we are following right now. Essentially, I held a sign that said, "We are not living in a rape culture in the West," which we are not. It is intellectually dishonest to think that we are living in a rape culture. Rapes do happen, but the vast minority of men and women are rapists. And when we do find out they're rapists, they go to prison, they are punished. Whereas in the third world countries and other places, men can get away with rape there. And it's insane to focus on this one issue and say that we are living in a rape culture. Rapists don't get high fives. We don't have the government funding rapists. Even men get fired from their jobs just for making rape jokes, not even raping. So to say we live in a rape culture is quite frankly ridiculous. All right, let's go follow the walk.
No means no! No means no! No means no!
You are attacking our cameraman. Yeah.
Nah, he was the one who touched me first.
Excuse me.
Oh, come on. So how do you believe your outfit is going to stop perpetuating rape culture?
It's my body, it's my choice. I can wear what I want. And this is exemplifying how it's a crime scene. Like wearing the caution tape that they would normally put around a physical crime scene when it's not regarding a person, but regarding me, it's regarding people, it's not considered a crime scene. That's up. It should be. It's a violation of a person's rights.
So is this stopping rapes?
Any stats to back up anything that you've said this afternoon?
Absolutely.
You said that rapists go to jail. Can you give me a stat to back that up based on the number of rapes that are reported, the number of rapes that get taken to the cops, the number of rapes that get prosecuted? Could you give me some stats to back up your pseudo-reporting here?
Well, first of all, out of the amount of rapes that happen, out of 100,000 people, 1.7 of Canadians actually, that's just reporting rapes. So
yeah, you know that less than 10% of rapes are actually reported.
Okay, where's that?
To the cops.
Where's that?
It's from all of the women's organizations. You can look it up online. You can find it through the socialized organizations that study rape. I participate with an organization that works as a rape crisis center. We base that on the number of calls. The police know based on the unofficial reports, the third-party reporting, and the direct reports. This is not a secret that about 10% of rapes are reported.
So how do you know 10% of rapes are reported if the others aren't?
Because those people call the women's centers, they ask for help, they seek medical attention.
So they are reported. Do you actually think we live in a rape culture?
Unfortunately, I think so. I was actually just chatting with my friend about even, the viral craze going on where people come up to reporters such as yourself and are saying that awful phrase into the live cameras, that's F her right in the P, and that kind of language that is considered funny is something that, it might seem like an innocent thing at the time, but it's just an example of how the language we use is absolutely involved with rape culture. Or if somebody does poorly on a test, they're like, oh, I got raped by that test, and it's like, why are you talking that way?
Do you actually think we live in a rape culture, though? Because I'd say, for the most part, we demonize rapists. We send them to prison. Guys who make rape jokes lose their job.
I think we're making great strides in doing that, but at the same time, there are girls and guys who believe that it's just kind of like you kind of force each other on, or like if it's okay for someone to take advantage of you or just assume that they can just come against you because you're so used to that way of life.
Get used to it. My short skirt is happiness. I was just curious as to what her sign meant. That's all.
If you want to know what my sign means that this is not a rape culture, because rapists go to prison here. Rapists are actually hated here. Rapists are fired from their jobs. Men who make rape jokes are fired from their jobs. Go to Africa and you will see a real rape culture.
Who's talking about it?
The whole point of the walk is to protest rape culture.
There's a group of women that were here and they're wishing to withdraw consent to use the footage that you had, I guess, gotten. So can you please make sure that is done and make sure that any of the stuff that they have...
We may or we may not use the footage. It is a public area, so we do have legal rights to use the footage.
But you like interviewed them specifically, right? So, like,
yes, and they gave us consent to interview them.
Well, now they're withdrawing it, so
that's not how it works. But
which is interesting given the event that you're at, right? Like, that's a little bit contradictory.
What do you mean it's a little bit contradictory?
Well, if you're
I totally say that's not how it works.
Well,
you can't just withdraw consent the next, like.
Well, that's interesting.
Why is that interesting?
It's just I don't know.
No. Tell me why.
Like a rally for like rapists, like, you know, consent and like withdrawing consent, saying like no means no. They're saying no, and you're saying that like.
Okay, so if someone gives consent the night before, and then they have listen, if they have sex with a man and they give consent to him, then the next day decide, oh, I regret it. I'm going to report him for being a rapist, even though I gave him consent. You're saying that's okay?
So you're sounding a little bit like a 12-year-old because this is irrelevant.
All right, we finally made it back here to the Vancouver Art Gallery after following around the slut walk. Our cameraman got shoved and pushed, my sign was ripped up, and I got a few middle fingers and got called a bitch. And overall, it was an interesting experience. We definitely support the cause of ending rape here in Canada. However, I believe this has been fear-mongering to say we live in a rape culture, seeing as the majority of people hate rape and rapists